Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We'll work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, commodities, and ETFs that I follow, and I'll give you my financial opinions. If you guys need any help with anything commodity related, you can check out finding-value.com, become a platinum member. You can use the word discount in the coupon code to get a discount. And we go over a lot of stuff, individual companies and whatnot, and what looks good, what's beaten down, and what looks good to turn and move on higher. I apply the same principles mostly that I go over in this in these videos that I do. So we'll dive in here right now. We'll take a look at what's going on. So we've got the DXY. The DXY is slightly higher today, up 0.3%. Kind of bucking the trend of the 10-year yield as it looks like the curve is normalizing some. I'm just looking at the sidebar here. So DXY is slightly higher in the short term. We've got 10-year yield falling just a little bit. It does look like this could potentially peak out and maybe roll over and get a little bit of a pullback here. 30-year yield also looking like we could maybe pull back, but again, this could also be a consolidation zone where we break on out. So we don't know which way this is going to break yet. Same with the 10-year yields. Yields moving higher puts pressure and kind of drags the overall stock markets down. That can have an impact on some of the commodity sectors. And then bond prices are slightly higher today, 0.42%, and they are putting in a bullish engulfing, which generally means we want to go higher. So the way that I would view this, if bond prices want to go higher, I'd be looking for yields to go and drop down lower. That's what I would be looking for. And then the TYX-TNX ratio, when this goes up, generally speaking, gold, silver, precious metals like it when it goes higher. So we were higher today, 0.5%. What that means is that the curve is normalizing to some extent. Obviously, we're going to get movements up and down. But when this goes up, generally gold likes that. So we should see precious metals go up today. Although we had a little bit slightly higher dollar, it generally tracks this curve normalizing. And if it's inverting, it does the opposite. So the CRB index, slightly higher today, 0.46%. We saw oil up today as well. So we've just been bouncing back and forth in the short term. A little bit bigger picture view. This was the bottom. We've come on up, and this is our consolidation period. So we are still consolidating, and we have not broken and made a either a lower high or lower low, I should say, or a higher high. We haven't moved in either direction yet, so we're still consolidating sideways in the commodities. The CRB to S&P 500, it does look like it's trying to break to the upside out of this channel. That's something we'll watch together here on the channel here and see if we can break through it over the next week or two. Looking at gold slightly higher today. This could be the beginning of a turn. Is the Green Army going to show up and buying pressure start to push this thing on up? Well, we'll find out here very shortly. So gold, although it's not a reversal candlestick, we'll see what happens next. Let's look at silver. Silver is looking like it's trying to put in some sort of bottom as well. We're getting a little bit more buying pressure on the green candlestick there. And platinum is also looking stronger today, up almost 2%. And we are kind of breaking through this guy here. This is almost like a little double bottom here that we're starting to put on, and maybe we can see a move on up. So that is platinum, and it's looking a lot better than before. XAU to gold ratio, slightly higher. We are breaking this downtrend, and hopefully we can get some momentum going where we can start to move on up. So that is the gold and silver miners outperforming gold itself. So GDX up a little bit more today. Hopefully we can get that momentum going, get the Green Army going. The Green Army is a bunch of big green candlesticks showing that the buying pressure is there and that we've got that good momentum to the upside. SILJ also getting a little bit more buying pressure today. It's not a clear bottoming pattern or anything like that. We still could bounce around here. just in the sector overall. But platinum looks good, and it looks like it doesn't look too bad for gold and silver. Crude oil, I would have really liked it if we finished strong today towards its closings. But nonetheless, it's an up day, 1.5% up, and we're still grinding sideways for the most part. Natural gas, up a little bit. We are losing some momentum here, so it makes me think we could come back a little bit before heading higher. You can see it in the opening and closing prices of each of these days. You can see them coming together. When they come together and they get really small, like this candlestick, sometimes you can see a little bit of a reversal. But we do have support underneath us, so we might kind of, go something like that on the lines of that. And again, I don't know the future. I'm just saying that the buyers are starting to equal the sellers, and we could see a little bit of a turning point in the next day or two. XOP, a little bit more selling pressure here, bearish engulfing. It engulfs the day before it, and it's a down candlestick engulfing the day before it, which means it's usually a reversal point to go a little bit lower. So in the short term, we could see a little bit of a pullback in XOP. We did see selling pressure today, even though crude oil was up. So we could see a little bit more selling pressure to the downside. Same with the VanEck Oil Services. So this is a bearish engulfing here. This is a bearish engulfing here. And you can kind of see what little pullbacks they can kind of result in. So we have a bearish piercing here where we could get a little bit of a pullback in the short term. We've got U.UN. Again, this still looks like we could pull back a little bit. We've got larger selling pressure. We do have an up move candlestick there, which is a bullish engulfing. And our buying pressure isn't that much, so we could kind of roll over or go sideways here for a little bit. URNM, another one. I haven't seen the big green candlesticks show up. So we've got large selling pressure, not much buying pressure. Large selling pressure, not much buying pressure. So we still could head lower here if the sellers want to push us lower, and if the overall markets decide to head on down. With yields going lower and bond prices potentially going higher, I do think this has a chance of either sideways to higher. It's still there because this will track the overall markets maybe a little bit closer than some of the other sectors. TAN is just moving sideways. We are still above this low here, so it still looks all right. We've got COPX, which is copper. Man, we're getting a bounce off this little support area. We're kind of bouncing, but I don't see much buying pressure, so I think we're probably going to go sideways to slightly lower. I got to see buyers step in here for me to change my mind. We've got lithium right on. So this is a lithium ETF, right on support. We've got REMX right on support. There's the support area. The S&P 500 slightly lower, but it's a bunch of small candlesticks. Buyers equal to sellers right in the general vicinity. If you look to the left, we also have, buying and selling pressure all through these areas, which is all underneath us. So that's providing support. Same with the NASDAQ, right at support. You can see the buying and selling pressure. Buying and selling pressure just means we have buyers and sellers that exchange shares. The more you exchange shares in that certain area, the stronger that support is underneath us. That's all it means. Emerging markets had just slightly lower, but mainly sideways. We've got XHB above support, just moving sideways, just waiting. Not really much to report on. Moving sideways right at support. Same thing as XHB and all the other ones. We've got copper slightly higher, but we've got some strong selling pressure before it. We'll see if this can power through or if it's going to roll back over, which is a possibility. Lumber looking better, 5.52%, a little bit of a wick at the top. But we got large buying pressure on this side here, the big green candlesticks. And then we've got small selling pressure here, which generally means that we'll eventually work our way higher over time. And maybe we still come back down a little bit before heading on up. Iron ore, we're at 124, still looking pretty good. We've got nickel Nickel's been bouncing around down a little bit. I do think that we could potentially come down here and do a retracement to that support level. Aluminum slightly higher, 1.24%. You can see those aluminum stocks really take off today, a lot of them. And I do think this will eventually work its way on higher. Baltic Dry Index on up. This is looking good for a breakout to the upside and a big old move along with, hopefully, crude oil. Newcastle coal futures also just moving sideways here. Well, actually, it's down 3.79% today, but I do think that we're going to do kind of a retest down here for Newcastle coal, and it's just lagging natural gas. Ethereum slightly lower, along with Bitcoin. So there's the dailies there. Slightly lower, still looks good to go higher. Same with Bitcoin, still looks good to go higher. And I'm looking at the big buying pressure candlesticks and the small selling pressure. There's an imbalance. The buyers are still in control, and I will think that it will eventually work its way on up. So that's what I've got for today, guys. That's all I've got. Now I went through it kind of quick. I think, just got to wait for stuff to break out. A lot of stuff's just kind of moving sideways at this moment. I think natural gas will kind of have to base out. I think oil's basing out. I think precious metals are trying to put in some sort of bottom base type movement. Just a lot of things are basing out, and some things are pulling on back. We could see it kind of move sideways for a little bit. But that's what I see in the charts right now. And yeah, that's all I've got. So if you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.